Hi guys, this is Brenda with Keenan Kreations, and today I'm going to show you a fun technique using the Rose Garden Thinlits die along with sponge daubers. To get started, we're going to use Whisper White cardstock. This measures 5 inches by 3 3/4. The Rose Garden Thinlits is available as a bundle, and you can get the stamp set that goes with it. Today we're only using this Thinlit right here, and I've already die cut Whisper White cardstock, and you're just going to place it right about here. And our first color is Hello Honey. It's okay if some of the image goes off the cardstock, but you want to make sure that you hold this in the same place until you're completely finished. If it does shift out of position, you're going to want to move it back before you finish. So take the sponge dauber on the end of your finger and just press it into the ink pad, just like that. I always like to start in the center because sometimes the ink is a little heavy and you don't want to have the circle shape of the dauber anywhere on here. You want it nice and soft and blended. So just pat it on the ink pad, go right to the center of this flower and just start patting. Most of the time when I'm sponging, I rub in a circular motion. For this technique, you want to pat almost like you're stippling like a stencil. So just kind of pat. And once you get most of the ink off the dauber, you can go to the outside edge. You do want to go slightly outside of this stencil, but again, you don't want to press so hard that you have the circular shape of the dauber. So that's why I like to start in the center, and then it should be nice and soft when you're going outside the edge. So just kind of pat it, and you can check what you're doing. And the way to get the colors darker is to keep patting. You're not going to get it dark right out the gate, so don't be in a hurry, just be a little patient. And again, every time I go to the ink pad, I want to go to the center of the flower, and then I'll work my way out to the outside edge. So we're just going to keep doing this until we get the whole rose done. Now we have most of the rose done in the Hello Honey. I want to go to a second color. We're going to use Rose Red. We're going to use a new sponge dauber, and this Rose Red is really dark and intense, so you want to be a little softer with this color. And I'm going to go right in the center. I'm not going to go completely to the edge with this Rose Red, but I do want to go probably about 3/4 of the rose from the center out. So again, start directly in the center, patting. And then as you get outside the center, you want to just be softer and softer. You want to have a nice blending of the Rose Red and the Hello Honey. Now I'm going to go back to the Hello Honey just to kind of intensify these colors a little bit. Now for the leaves, we're going to use Old Olive. You'll notice I'm being careful whenever I lift up my fingers to not shift the stencil. So I want to always make sure that I hold it in the right spot. Again, if it moves, just kind of put it back in position. And then we're just going to pat in the center of the leaves, and we're going to get softer as we go outside the stencil. Now I'm going to turn it so I can get to the other leaf for the camera. And I'm going to go to the basic black archival ink pad, and we're just going to tap the greeting. We're going to go right down here at the bottom. The photopolymer sometimes wants to stick to the paper, so I always like to lift it up slowly. Now we have basic black cardstock, and this is cut just slightly larger than this piece. So this measures 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. You're going to add adhesive around all the edges. I like to hold this up and line up these 3 sides before I set it down. So most of the time that will work out and you'll have a nice even edge. Sometimes it doesn't and you have to lift it back up, but actually that looks pretty good. Now we have Pear Pizzazz cardstock, and this is your standard card size, 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. And then take your time to get this nice and even. And there you go. I'll show you these other cards that we made. This one I changed the orientation to landscape, but all of these are going in portrait. Now this one, you can see these colors are a little more intense. I added more of that rose red. This is a little bit softer sponging. This one was just Hello Honey. Actually, this one I think was also Pear Pizzazz ink for the leaves and Old Olive here. This one was Pool Party, a little bit of Island Indigo in the center. This one was Pink Pirouette and Rose Red in the center. And we have Wisteria Wonder with Elegant Eggplant. Now you'll notice you have this pretty little stencil after you're done making that card, and you can use that to create another card. Now this looks pretty just the way that it is, but I thought it needed a little something extra, so I took it, this one, and I added Versamark ink, and then I used clear embossing powder to give that a nice, almost enamel look to it, so you can see the difference between the two. It's really whatever your preference is, and I'll show you these other ones that were left over from the cards that I showed you. They're really quite pretty, and then you can create another card using this. And because I thought this piece was so pretty by itself, I didn't want a lot of color to the card. So I layered this on the same size Whisper White cardstock, which is 5 inches by 3 3/4. Then I layered that onto basic black, which was 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And I popped that up with dimensionals as well. And I just layered it on a base of Whisper White cardstock. To adhere it to the card, you can see it's not glued completely down. I just put glue dots in certain spots under this little piece here. Now sometimes the glue dots are bigger than where you're placing it, so you just want to roll the glue dot onto itself so it's smaller, and then you just adhere that, you know, with a couple of little glue dots there, and you have a really pretty card. I hope you enjoyed today's projects. For more ideas, you can visit me at KeenanCreations.com. Thanks and have a great day.